You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Business Morning. We're coming to you from Channels Television. From Lagos, I am Bolaji Akinwale. Before we went on break, we were talking about business development for small and medium enterprises, for big cap companies, and even the big corporates. And we've talked a lot about how do you move your business forward? What strategies do you need to adopt to be able to succeed in whatever venture you are in? And we've been talking to Joel Osebo and Edward Asene. Both men are business development experts. Thank you, gentlemen, for still being a part of the show.
Thank you so much.
I'd like us to look at one particular area, which is customer relations. How do you build long-lasting relationship with the customers, even when there are issues you need to resolve, issues of complaints, inquiries? How do you build and sustain that relationship, keeping your customers to yourself? True. Edward. Okay, Edward. You want let Joe come in at this point.
Okay, it comes from, I want to say, your ability to create customer experience.
That word is very common.
Yeah,
we hear that a lot.
But
in the telecom sector, we have adverts, and you're at customer experience. Go to the experience center. What is that all about? It seems to be a very
about
big
after
word.
I've used your product and service, the wow feeling.
How
that
do I feel?
That feeling of
creates the kind of feeling.
Satisfaction. Right now, we're not even talking about it. You know, when you say if you don't meet the customer's expectation, he's dissatisfied. When you meet his expectation, he's satisfied. But when you exceed the expectation, there's one word we use, he becomes delighted. So you want to get your customers to that point where they are delighted. I mean, after they use your product and your service, they are delighted. They're not just satisfied because it's wonderful for you. Okay, but at that point of being delighted, you can refer them. You want to get your business to the point where you have referrals. Not just having referrals, but these guys become what we call your raving fan. They become your external marketers. I'm sure some things you have bought, you didn't have a first-hand knowledge about the organizations. Your friends, family told you about that product, about the organization. Then, based on their referral, you went there and you bought that product. So that customer, to keep your customer coming back to you, you need to see how you get your product and service to get your customer to the point whereby they can refer you. For us, we've gotten to a point whereby after we've delivered our services, the next thing we're asking our customer, can you give us 10 more people? They're happy to do it immediately. If they can give us 10, they're giving us a minimum of 3 or 5 persons. You want to deliver your service and product to the point where whoever you have satisfied is willing to refer you to somebody else. So it's the point where you actually, you supersede what your cost, because there's an expectation for every customer. But when you supersede it, the extra mile you go is what you need to create in your business to keep your customers in your business.
In a situation where there are complaints, how do you think that should be handled?
Resolve it quickly.
And be honest about it.
Resolve it quickly, because there will always be complaint. That's one. Two, every customer has a right to complain. Then 3, customer is always king. You know, there will always be complaint. Every customer has a right to complain in whatever tone or manner.
When the customer is willing to pay the money, it can be king.
Yes. In whatever tone or manner they decide to go with their complaint. Because again, no complaint, we can have verbal and oral. But because we're in this country, we don't go to the written complaint. So we want to vent and pour out. When you see an angry customer lashing out at you, because of the target, you will be, because you need that. NPR is coming, so you must take it. And you know, again, because the customer is always right. But you see, there will always be complaint because customer needs and tastes are changing. We cannot keep selling to them the way we've been selling to them. We have to, you know, be on our toes, be innovative, be dynamic about it. And whenever they complain, they said that if a customer complains and it gets to you, it's because they still want to do business with you. A lot of the time, people complain internally and they just take a walk. You never see them. The guy that takes the effort to come and approach an official or an authority feel you guys can get this thing done. So don't take it in bad light. Every complaint, like we say, is a feedback for improvement.
Okay, there's a particular thing that I would like us to look at next, which is investors, getting investors into your business. As a small business owner, medium-scale business owner, you want to grow the size of your business and your company. How do you get these investors to come in, or what can be the attraction to the business?
Okay, let me start before Edward comes in, because that's a very strong area for Edward when it comes to funding assets. For me, for an SME, two things come into play. The first one is either you're about starting the business, or you're already in business, because those are the point you're already in business and you want to expand. There's a new product you want to develop, or there's a new idea you need funding for, or you just have this great business idea and you're going into it. For the first one, it's about a lot of risk. The investors want to assess what level of risk they are going to incur at that point. They will not be really looking at your business. They just be looking at the idea and the prospect of that idea. So your idea as a small startup must be focused on solving real problems. Then also,
and all of this should be in your business plan.
Must be documented. Then the SME, the individual must be skillful, must have his own track record, because the company does not have a track record yet, but that individual must have a track record, and every other person that will work with him on that business must have a good track record that will grow that business, that will give the investors comfort. Then for the other ones that you're already in business and you want investors to come into the business to expand the business or to grow the business, they want to look at what you've done in the past. They want to know that you've been successful for them to continue that journey with you. Because if you have not been successful in the past, they can't meet you at that point of the next phase of your growth. So for every SME that is thinking about funding, it's important that these little things I've mentioned, they be giving some critical assessment before anybody can come in. People want to ensure that if we are taking risk on your business, if we are bringing our finances into your business, we want to be sure that the money is safe, and we have a return on investment as at Wendy.
Edward.
Perfect. I think Java said it all. For SMEs, getting funding is the challenge. Everybody knows that. It's not something that is new to us, and it's not just peculiar in Nigeria alone. Now, because like they say, if you're a new business, if you're starting up, lenders don't give you money at ideas level. Do something, except it's a venture capital fund, which is the source of funding. So how do SMEs, new businesses, startup, access funding? You have to look at one, crowdfunding, what we call alternative mediums, channels to use. Because if the conventional institutions are not giving us money, then we can't just sleep on our ideas. We have to be creative and take steps and see what we can do. So again, crowdfunding is not new. There are a lot of people doing, we have a crowdfunding site that's about to go live very soon. Because again, you see the guy saying, I need money. You see somebody that spoke with you 3 weeks ago saying, I have money, what do I do with my money? So let's get a platform for all of them to meet. There are 1 or 2 people. It's still relatively new in this country. There are just a few people doing it.
Are there risks attached to that?
There are risks, yes. There are different models. There's what they call the open model, where, okay, Mr. Investor meet Mrs. Investor, Balaji, Mr. Entrepreneur, the business person. So I bring the both of you together. So he does a pitch to you, and I just watch, so I get a brokerage. Broker, that's open. Your risk is between you guys. It's an open model. But in the closed model, Mrs. Investor is not concerned about Mr. Entrepreneur. He gives the money to me, I give them my word as the consultant, he transfers risks to me, the money and the risks to me, so I put it in his business and make sure he gets a return, either equity or debt or interest. So different models, so again, it depends on how you want to play. Each of them have their level of risk. But it's very, very key that entrepreneurs begin to look at alternative funding windows. Crowdfunding is very, very, very important. There are a lot of some Nigerian businesses that are getting good money from crowdfunding side, about fundables, Kickstarters. I was still there some couple of, I saw some Nigerian listed businesses that have been funded, and these are new business, they are startups. So if you are crying that you don't have money, then look for alternative route. We can't just park the bus, so very, very important. Then again, how about grants?
Government investment.
Government aids, grants.